You keep telling us how great it is.
Yeah, I'm spreading a lot of word of mouth.
I think that's smart. I mean, if the people in it aren't going to say it's good.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. My daughter said to me actually before, not to me, to my wife, a couple of days ago, said, you know, if Dad was a car salesman, I think he'd sell a lot of cars. I think that was a compliment, I'm not sure.
I take it as one.
Thank you. The movie deals with, it's very sort of edge of your seat, sort of suspenseful drama about these families whose children go missing. And as a parent, just reading the script made me feel sick to the stomach. I mean, whether you're a calm guy, a nice guy, whatever kind of person you are, you get in that situation and all hell breaks loose. And that's sort of what happens in this movie. And I pretty much can understand anyway, anything that someone would do in that situation to kind of save their kid. And I think the movie really asks that question of the audience, you know, how far would they go?
As a father, you know, you do anything to protect your child, but oftentimes parents are helpless beyond the hope and faith that they have regarding what God may do to come and bring some remedy to this tragic circumstance that they find themselves in. You know, but the best thing that a parent can do is the preventative methods, and that's talking to them ahead of time, letting them know that the discipline, when I say something to my children, it isn't something that they can take lightly. It may mean life or death for them, because the amount of tragedy that it brings to a parent's heart. Remember, all of this happened because the kids went back and played in a place they weren't supposed to. Discipline is so important, but teaching them to listen to that little voice inside of their heart, that whisper, that little voice of God that says, think about this, it may not be right. That's the best thing you can teach your children. And I hope that this film resonates throughout all the families throughout in the entire world to say, listen to that little voice.
It's very difficult because, you know, we're parents, and it's very difficult because as soon as you have a child, the first thing you want to do is protect your child. I think it's probably the most horrific thing that you can imagine when you know your child is missing and you can't find them and your mind thinks the worst. But because I have a child, I think it was easier for me to go there instead of just imagining it and pulling it out of a vacuum.
Weirdly, the subject matter of this movie is different for my character than it is for any of the other characters in the movie. My character has to be fascinated in a way with both sides of the line, with the potential suspects and their minds, and also with the families that are suffering from this situation. So I was fascinated by walking both lines, and it kind of excited me in a strange way. I mean, to be a detective, there's so many cliches and pitfalls you can fall into when you're playing a character like that, but I was more interested in the reality of the situation, and Denis Villeneuve, the director, allowed me to explore that. So as hard as it was at times, and the days were definitely trying, it was also at the same time totally exciting.
Very intense. A lot of your scenes get pretty violent. What was it like dealing with what that character had to go through? How did you get into that mindset?
Well, preparing for it was the hard part, and then doing it was kind of the release of all the stuff you kind of fill up with. So actually doing those scenes that are violent could be fun in some sort of way. It was kind of getting ready for them. That was the scarier part.
It's an intense movie. It's some really fine filmmaking. And it is quite a thriller.
Is it exciting to hear all the good reviews?
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm very proud of Denis. The pleasure of working with him and Jake and Hugh and Paul. It just was really a wonderful film to film, and I am very proud of Denis and his very fine, if darkish film.
We had such an amazing time making the film, and you never know how it's going to turn out. I mean, as I've gotten older, I realize that. You just like do the best you can, and then the rest you don't know. It's like throwing spaghetti against a wall. So it's great to hear people liked it, because I think Denis Villeneuve is a genius.
It's a good group. We all got along. Great director, great crew, great actors. So there was times where you could cut loose, but we all feel good if we do the best we can during the day, you know, and then sometimes, yeah, you go out for dinner or drink, or, you know, I have some pals from the movie now.
It's always bittersweet to walk away from the work. You're walking away from people you've been working with and gotten to know quite well, sometimes in a short while. So, yeah, it's a little different than you might imagine. The work is rewarding and full, as Denis allowed from his actors on the set, a real collaboration. You walk away fairly satisfied, actually.
Well, this is my fourth movie in a row. I just finished in Montreal, the X-Men Days of Future Past, so I'm slightly in the doghouse a little. So I'm really excited to promote this movie, and then I'm going to slowly crawl out of the doghouse, hopefully. That's a lot of school lunches, taking out the garbage, pick up, drop offs, assistant coach my son's soccer team, all that. I love it.
Yeah. That's a lot of fun.